name is Stanley Palborowski. My nickname is Pal.
And what do you do here?
That's a good question. I buy some product. I buy socks and Levi's and some other stuff, and then I buy the supplies, the bathrooms and the rest of the stuff.
What other roles have you had over the years, or titles?
I've done a lot of things. When I got 16, I could drive a driver's license, so I was driving a truck for my father. We used to sell appliances, refrigerators, stoves, and TVs, and I mounted TV antennas. And but I've still done everything. I've sold and sorted war surplus, graded it to resell it. We used to buy it. We used to buy it at the army bases. It was one in New Jersey. We used to go to quite frequently, and we used to buy the surplus there. I used to sort that, and then of course, we had another store in Bellows Falls, so I used to go back and forth to Bellows Falls to play the game there. Used to lay out the stores and all that.
This store was always a fixture of Brattleboro, as far as you can remember?
Oh yeah, we changed. We had an Army-Navy name, and we had to change that because there were lines that we couldn't get, like North Face and Patagonia, and some of those brands. They wouldn't sell us because they didn't want to be associated with an Army-Navy store. So we changed our name to Sam's Outdoor Outfitters. Now we have all those brands.
Do you remember what year that was?
I'm going to guess around 1990, somewhere in there.
Oh wow, okay. So pretty recently.
30 years, 35 years.
Yeah. Do you remember what got your parents into the business?
My father had a deli in a delicatessen city in the Bronx, and his brother came up and had a store in Keene, an Army-Navy in Keene. And then he bought Mr. Fine out, who was from Northampton and Brattleboro. And my father came to work for him. And then after a few months, my father said, I can't work for anybody else. So he bought him out. And that's when we started buying. That's when we were about probably 35 or 36. He stayed in the store. But he was in the store at 34. This place here was the office over the alley. My father had this put in so he could have an office here. Then I bought that building down, the other Church Street building, the Stamps 2 building, in '83. So I built a bridge across here into the other building, and then downstairs there's another bridge. This is our main office area here. We have an advertising person sits in there, the main bookkeepers in that room in there. These are the two girls that do a lot of input. This is where we have warehouse. Summer merchandise is here now, and winter merchandise is here in the winter. In the summer, rather. Then down here, this is a little bit workshop, a workshop for a lot of our parts and stuff. Normally this would be filled with summer merchandise, but a lot of it downstairs because we're selling it out, cleaning out the store. We have a conveyor belt here that brings merchandise up.
So that you receive from street level?
Yeah, we are in there. And we have two alleys. Right now we're using that alley for most of the receiving in our warehouse. And this is another alley where we bring merchandise. Certain merchandise comes here. Mostly all the work clothing comes up to this area because it feeds that room. We broke into the other side, the other building through here. In other words, the building's in the shape of a U, and we built a bridge across. This is one bridge. We go and bridge downstairs here. That's the bridge that goes in there. Then we came over here into this building that way. So we've got two ways into this building. We'll go this way, and then I'll take you down to the shoe department after we go on the other side. Hi there, Cassie.
Hi.
How did the tradition of popcorn start?
One of my sons went to Clark University, and it was in Worcester. And the street we come in on, there was a popcorn machine in a window. There was a supply store for some kitchen stuff. I saw the popcorn machine, and I said, "Jesus, I gotta have a popcorn machine, give away popcorn." And I just went in there for about a couple of years, and finally I decided to buy a popcorn machine. So I bought a popcorn machine. We started giving it away, and it became a necessity in all 3 stores. So it was very interesting. Building that balcony was a good idea because it gave us a place to put all our sale merchandise.
Over there, I see some historical photos. Like
Yeah, that's my father.
father.
So that's my father serving at Hunter's breakfast.
And so who's
That's my mother.
it's your mom?
Yeah. She used to work in a store, especially at Christmas time. This part here was the store that was the Army and Navy store he started with, and he had it all the way up front, just to that area. Then we moved into the building in here. He opened up in here, and I took out the walls and made it step through that. This is one of our warehouses.
Wow.
We keep our back stock here. We're taking down some shelving now, but it goes pretty far. Warehouse manager sits at his desk. We have a doorway here. We take merchandise in that way, in that alley. Then we separate it after we check it in. Keene goes on one side and Hadley goes on the other.
What's one thing that you might miss about the store?
Well, I used to be on the floor all times. I used to love to communicate with the customers, but now I don't do that anymore. I'm just in the office all day long. So it's not as much fun as it used to be. And of course, this is the warehouse, the sporting goods place. We sold guns, a lot of guns to Hunters. We've moved merchandise from the other side and got it all over here now. So the other side is not being used. And this is another warehouse. Then we've got a hangar room over here. And there. Got all our fixtures on the right.
No kidding. Wow, look at all your mannequins.
Yeah. It's mostly out of the window now.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other rooms, really it's a hangar room. We used to keep all our hangars in there. This is where we keep our backstock of ammunition. Got some more fixtures here. Now we can go in the shoe department if you want. And this is the shoe department. Hi there.
How you doing?
Good.
This was added on later.
83.
83.
Yeah.
And now you also had said you had one employee who was here almost 50 years.
Yeah. Paul Nato is here about 46 years. I got Jim Barrett's been here over 40. I think 43. I'm not sure of that
Yeah, I
though.
think you were saying 43. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a warehouse down here.
How many square feet would you say this building is?
This building here is about 33,000 square feet.
33,000 square feet?
Yeah. With all 3 floors.
Oh, wow.
Goes back pretty far. Got a lot of shelves. This was all full before we started our sale. Got a lot of space. It had a dirt floor when I bought it. So I put cement walls on the side and cement on the floor. And of course I got a place where the water goes out if it ever gets full with wet.
During Irene, how much of this got flooded?
Oh, we lost $500,000 in that period. that flood. So it was pretty costly. But that's the way the game goes. And this is the loading dock back here. This gives you an idea of how we get the merchandise in, and it goes downstairs into that other area.
So it wasn't, you had to hand unload out of the trucks, right?
Oh yeah.
So you don't have an actual dock, it was actually backed up to. You
No,
actually
no.
Okay.
How many loading docks do you have?
Pardon?
How many loading docks?
Really two. Yeah, really two. This one and the other alley. The other alley checks in merchandise, and they get it down to the sporting goods warehouse, and they don't bring it in here basically. But their shoes and work clothes come in this area.
What do you think the future of retail is, pal?
Well, I think
Online and everything.
I think retail is getting hard. The vendors are making it harder for the retailer. The fact that the variety in Brattleboro has diminished dramatically. There's not a reason for people to come to Brattleboro to shop because they can't feed the family. In other words, they can't get kids clothing and stuff like that. So downtown Brattleboro has had some serious problems with parking. They got a lot of loading zones that are taken up, and they're using the streets for places to serve food, and it's getting tougher. It's getting tougher with the vendors. The vendors are going online to compete with stores, which is not a great deal. We belong to 3 buying syndicates, and that does help us quite a bit with available merchandise and getting prices, keeping our prices down. But it's all pretty much of a hassle getting to be stores. I think a lot of you get some stores that carry ladies things here in Brattleboro, but they don't carry much. They don't carry a full line of merchandise. They have a lot of other trinkets with it, so they're not truly ladies stores. It's getting more expensive for health insurance for vendors, for stores for their employees. So we had a person that was going with a girl, and when he got married, and our medical insurance for him went up about $100. So sometimes single, when you get married, you have other obligations to it. So basically, it's you change your insurance policies or whatever, and it's a hassle.
But do you think people still want to try on hard goods,
Yeah.
and opposed to, you can't see
Yeah.
if it fits online,
Yeah.
you can't necessarily know. Do you think people, that's gonna sustain, like that people still want to be able to try on?
Well, I think what's happened also now that everybody's charging customers a return fee. In other words, people used to buy 3-4 pairs of shoes online and return 2 or 3 pair or whatever it was. And now the vendors are making it harder for them to, got more costly for that program. And then also when you get a shirt, for example, it's all folded up neat. When a customer tries it on, then sends it back, it's all screwed up. So they gotta either sell it or find a way to put it on the rack. And generally they sell it to closeout dealers. So that costs them money. So it's getting there's a lot of little things that are becoming a part of the program.
What about during the holidays? You probably see a lot more sales at that time. Do you think
Oh,
people
yeah,
still
no.
enjoy that experience?
Well, November, December are really very good selling periods. We lose money until September, till the end of September. But the last 3 months make a big difference. We don't do enough. The 1 day that 1 month rather that we don't hardly do any business at all is February, March, and April. I'll do a little bit in April, but February, March suck, and January's not great either to a great degree. So you really you're really taxed to one area. But you get used to it. You know, this store's got so many employees because it's so divided. We have to have one in every spot. Then we get 4 cashiers. So, you know, under normal circumstances, we'd have 1 cashier.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting game.
In the 81 years that you've been involved at the store, what would you say the most prosperous time economically for this store was in those decades? What's your thoughts on that afterwards?
It's hard to say because, you know, during the war, I know my father did well, but I don't know I wasn't associated with the volume or anything like that. But in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, we were pretty good, pretty strong.
Was the 60s pretty strong? It seemed like 60s was pretty
Yeah, the
strong.
60s was good. In the late 40s, we had a good growth program because of the GIs getting out of the Army, the service. So they had to buy a lot of stuff, like appliances, and we used to sell appliances to those people for their homes. So that was a good period. But other than that, it's hard to lay a line on what this store used to do, what all 3 stores do now.
What advice would you give someone who wanted to get into this kind of business?
At this stage of the game,
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's tough.
pretty tough.
Yeah.
What the problem you have is you have to establish yourself with vendors, and you have to have some assets. And the banks, you know, if you're gonna go out and borrow money, you're gonna have some financial backing to use a bank. So there's that thing, and the vendors need to have security that you're gonna pay the bill. So that's another issue. And then if you're going to open, you know, it depends on what kind of a store you're going to open. If you're going to open a shoe store, you're going to open a ladies store, a men's store, or a department store, you're fighting a big program. That's, you know, it's a whole different world. Hard work used to be able to make money. Now hard work don't necessarily mean you make money.
Yeah.
When you were going full freight, you know, what was the most you were working? You know, how many hours would you put in a week?
When I was
When you were
working, oh
working
Christ.
your most, yeah.
I was working from 8 in the morning till 6 at night during the day. I mean, I didn't go out for lunch basically. Sometimes I ate my lunch in the store, and then when it came Friday nights, I was open to 8 to 9, and Saturday nights in the early part of the years were open, but now then we were closed. So I could put in 65, 70 hours a week.
Wow.
Easy. Then at Christmas time, we used to open every night, starting on the 1st of December. I think it was 1st of December. And I used to work from, then it was 9 to 9. So I'd work from 9 to 9 every day.
Did you ever think about retiring or just leaving the store, or has it always been, you've always wanted to stay?
It's been fun. I've enjoyed all my time. So I consider it fun, not work.